Is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin worth its $60 price tag? Muckluck here, and I make concise, spoiler-free game reviews that help you decide if you want to buy something without spoiling the game for you. This is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, a real-time strategy video game in a high fantasy setting with a very long name. It is available on PC, PS5, Xbox X, and is rated T for teen. In full disclosure, I received this game for free as part of my work, but the goal of this review is to determine whether or not this game is worth its $60 price tag for you. The game's setting, with no spoilers beyond the tutorial. The game takes place in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar universe. If you're new to the franchise, it's basically swords, magic, and there is no good guys. Everyone is just different flavors of bad. In the early missions, you follow the story of a group of Sigmar's warriors tasked with finding an artifact and reaching the city of Harcanibus in time to save it. However, on the way there, you encounter bands of Oryx that want nothing more than to kill your kind. You play some missions as the humans and others as the Oryx, and a few flashback missions where you play the followers of Tzeentch, who are at war with the Nighthaunt undead over this same location. That helps set some backstory for what is going on. While you never play as the Nighthaunts in the campaign, you can play them in custom games or multiplayer. The general gameplay. In most of the missions, as well as the skirmishes, conquests, and multiplayer, you have a muster point, kind of like your command center. It will defend itself, heal nearby troops, make new troops, and if you ever use the retreat button, your units will run here. Your goal is to keep this building alive and then to take key objectives around the map. When you take objectives, you can build one building of your choice at each of them, such as healing stations, mines that provide income or defenses, and push your way to the enemy's command center, or reach a certain victory score before they do. As you upgrade your muster point, more tiers of units will become available to you, increasing the tools at your disposal. Realms of Ruin campaign took me about 11 hours of gameplay for the first playthrough. Aside from that, there is also Conquest mode, where the goal is to win chains of victories against the AI with certain buffs or debuffs in play. Skirmish mode to play custom games or multiplayer. These options add near endless amounts of gameplay to the game if you decide you enjoy it. Comparisons to other games. In speaking with other gamers, the titles closest to this game and gameplay are probably Company of Heroes or Dawn of War 2. While this is an RTS, it does not have the snappy responsiveness of games like StarCraft or the ability to build things aside from the objective locations. There is less clicking and more weight to each command you give, as those commands take time to occur. The details. Graphics. The graphics and also the story are the strongest parts of this game for me. It is absolutely stunning, both in gameplay and in the game's cinematic cutscenes. Sound and music. Again, stunning. The sounds of the combat especially had weight to them. I loved hearing the units of Sigmar crash down with their lightning attacks.
Beneath Sigmar's shield!
Woo! All the activatable abilities.
We will prevail!
Controls. Realms of Ruin is listed as having keyboard and mouse and partial controller support on Steam. I played the game with mouse and keyboard, and the keys I didn't like were able to be remapped in the options menu. I had a few issues with the design of the unit's controls specifically, unrelated to the device you are using, that I will come back to. Saving system. The game allows you to open the menu and manually save at any time, but unfortunately does not have quick saving or auto saving. If you don't make manual saves and you fail a mission, you have to start it over from the beginning. I would love to see them at the very least add a quick save button. Content creator concerns. None. I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch and uploaded the entire thing to our Muckluck Plays YouTube channel and did not experience any muted VODs or have any issues with copyright claims. Do I have anything negative to say? A few things. Going into this, I read RTS and thought of RTS games I had played, such as Warcraft, StarCraft, Command & Conquer, and Total Annihilation. This is not like those at all. While your units engage in melee combat, you cannot micro them at all. They are locked in. Some of them have abilities that can be used in melee, some do not. In these situations, it is a fight to the death unless you press the retreat button, which causes you to have no control over the unit, and they charge full speed back to your muster point. They do this in a straight line, which sometimes gets them killed, and they will go to the muster point even if there is a healing station closer than that. Retreating costs a resource called Command, which feels weird. All units' abilities cost Realm Stone, the second resource. They aren't cooldown based or mana bar based. You have to mine Realm Stone for units to use their skills, which again felt odd to me. Units being shot by ranged attacks will just stand there until they die. Likewise, units 2 feet away from a dying ally will not help unless you directly order them to. To use other games' terms, it's it's kind of like every unit is on hold position all the time. If I have multiple units selected, I can't just click on one to select it to try to micro it quickly. I have to deselect the pack, then select the one unit. Upgrading a building is the R key, and sending a unit on an unstoppable retreat across the map is also the R key. I recommend rebinding one of these to avoid accidents. As mentioned previously, there is no quick saving or auto saving. You cannot add the main building to a control group. There is a hotkey that centers the screen on it, but I could not bind it to a key to upgrade it while looking somewhere else. In the 11+ hours I played, I experienced 5 crashes. I then updated a video card driver and had no more issues, so that may have been on my end, but I'm mentioning it just in case. Final thoughts. The game was gorgeous, with great visuals and sound design, with an engaging story that had me yearning for the next cutscene to see what was going to happen. In terms of actual gameplay though, I found it odd. The only actual bug I experienced was those few crashes I mentioned. Everything else I had issue with were design decisions they made intentionally. At this point, I usually clearly state whether I feel the game I'm reviewing is or is not worth it, but I think in this case the answer is... it depends. If you love Dawn of War 2 or Company of Heroes, this could be exactly what you're looking for and right up your alley. However, if you see RTS on the label and buy it hoping for a Warhammer game that plays like Command & Conquer, then hopefully this video has given you a clear idea of how the game plays, because it is very different than that. And you can make an informed decision on whether this game is worth it for you. This video was not sponsored, so if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to see more of my own playthrough of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, I'll include a link to that playlist from our other channel down below. Subscribe there too. As always, a massive thank you to our dear patrons who make content like this possible. If you'd like to become a supporter and earn early access, there's a link to that in the description. And remember...
Whoa!